It's a bull. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in absolutely lovely Lauderdale by the Sea. 60 degrees out. My gosh, it's April and we still got 60 and 70 degree weather. I gotta love this. I just hope it continues on. I'd like to have nothing but a permanent spring down here. I could do without the hot weather for a little while. Anyways, there I go with my first anyways of the day. Let's start off with my topic here, which is about integrity, zero. And why am I saying integrity zero? Because integrity is a very important part of this world. It's an important part of doing business. It's an important part of our politics. It's an important part of our families. It's an important part of our friends and all our relationships. And what I've seen is a lack of integrity in the world, a lack of integrity in our media, a lack of integrity in our governments, a lack of integrity in our big businesses. And that carries over. We're wondering why we have issues in the whole world. We've got integrity issues. That's the issue. And when we've got young folks out there looking at these integrity issues, they don't know quite what to make of it, but they do know something's wrong, and so do we. We absolutely know we have integrity issues. Someone that spoke about this a long time ago, and I'm sorry, it's a little bit off track, but not really, because integrity has a lot to do with why gold and silver prices will continue to climb, as will platinum prices. With lack of integrity in our government, lack of integrity in our financial systems, lack of integrity in our money, lack of integrity, I could go on forever. What we've got going on is we've got a ripe environment is the reason why gold, silver, and platinum will continue to go up. Lack of integrity, folks. And I'll make my case here shortly. I'm not sure many people recognize this guy. This is George Carlin. He's probably what I consider one of the greatest comedians of my time. And kind of give me my age here. And he's older than me, actually, too. He passed away some years. But, I remember seeing this routine he did. And you can YouTube this routine, but where he talks about the big club. And oddly enough, the audience he's talking to is laughing, but nervously, because he's talking to them. He's talking to us. He's talking to us in the future right here. And I'll read this to you, and although you can read it yourself. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this effing place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. By the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head with their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white-collar people, blue-collar people. It doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. It's a big effing club, and we are not in it, folks. So the sooner you realize that we are not in the big effing club, we're with the money guys, with the government, with business. We are not in the big club. We are actually we are the product for them. We are how they make their money. We are how they get successful. So we are anything but their primary concern. And this is what leads to lack of integrity. When they're trying to get things out of our pocket or sell us something that is not good for us, and they know it's not good, but or maybe not suited for us, they still stuff it down our throats. Integrity is pretty much zero in media, government, and big business right now, and that's my opinion. But George Carlin talked about this 30 or 40 years ago whenever he did this routine. If you've never seen the routine on this, I recommend you watch it. It's pretty damn funny on top of it. And again, I'm not digressing from gold, silver, and platinum. However, what I do worry about is integrity is zero. We've had an issue with integrity for a long time with, again, media, government, and business, and a lot of other things in our lives. We even have integrity issues with friends and family occasionally. However, it's up to us. It's up to us to keep the integrity alive. It's up to us to point out when other people aren't being honest. And this is the issue we have today. Too many people are silent when it comes to the media, government, and business. We need to be vocal about this. And actually not just vocal, we need to be loud about this. We need to protest about this. I mean, the hypocrisy out there is just insane when it comes to the media, government, and big business. A lot of, not all big business, and not all government, and not all media, but most of it, in my opinion. Most of the big stuff. They're not working for us, folks. It's a whole different team. We're not in their club. Just remember that, and that's real important. However, I don't want to depress you, because another favorite saying of mine, besides, I won't say this is a favorite saying of mine, but another favorite saying of mine is, of course the game is rigged. And you've heard me say this how many times in the last year? Thousands. Of course the game is rigged. Don't let that stop you. If you don't play, you can't win. So, in their world, in their big club. If you want to win with the big club calling the shots, and the big club in media, and the big club in government, and the big club in business, if you want to win with these people, you got to know how they rig the game. And if you know how they rig the game, you can win. And again, that's the point of my shows. The point of my videos here I've been doing for a year is I don't want to become a personality type on YouTube. Actually, doing this every day is like work now. So, and I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. However, my real goal is to increase my local business here, and I'm straight honest with that. That's I'm here to make money, but I want to do it honestly as well. And how do I do that? I think the best way to do that is to educate you, because once you're educated, once you're thinking on your own, you don't need to rely on a salesperson. You don't need to rely on this guy on YouTube. You don't need to rely, and obviously I hope you don't rely on corporate media when it comes to gold, silver, and platinum. I hope you don't listen to these people because they're morons, but that's a side point, and I've made that point many times as well. Integrity. We're lacking integrity out there, and the people that you think you should be able to trust the most are the people you're able to trust the least. And again, that's big media, big government, and big business. And again, it's a big club. You're not in it. I'm not in it. But the whole point is, again, of my videos here is we're not in the big club when it comes to gold and silver and platinum either. There's a whole different club. There's the J.P. Morgans that run that. There's governments that are behind keeping prices up or down. And that's, the integrity in the gold and silver markets is no less, no worse than the integrity of equity, stock, and bond markets. It's no worse than the integrity of your currency in your pocket. It's no worse. So, don't be thinking like, oh, gold and silver markets are so horrible, I shouldn't be in them. Or, man, this guy's telling me these markets are so... Everything you do, every market you're in is pretty much rigged, folks. Just, learn that, get over that. That's the important thing. And that's kind of what George Carlin was trying to tell us here, that we're not in the big club. And as soon as you realize you're not in the big club, that's the first step on knowing how the game is rigged. Because they try to make you feel like you're part of the big club, but you are not. We are not. So let me kind of move on to some stories here. I hope that didn't go over your heads. And again, I'm kind of just trying to, it ties into precious metals. Integrity ties into precious metals. In a perfect world, we'd all be working and everything like that for each other. And we'd all be giving each other food, and we'd be sharing everything in life. But that's, again, perfect utopian world where humans weren't really humans. We were just kind of like ants. But we don't live in a world like that. We live in a world where people want to better themselves and get better and make more for themselves. And of course, there's ways to do it with integrity, and there's ways to do it without integrity. And it seems like, again, mass, a big part of our major media and major governments and major business chooses to do it the other way. Hypocrisy is another word, but we'll talk about hypocrisy another time. I don't even need to talk about it. You see it every day in your life, every time you turn on the news, which I wouldn't recommend doing anymore. By the way, I haven't watched corporate TV news since 2008. One day I'll tell that story. Well, let's get into a few articles here so I don't go too off tangents. But as I said, of course the game is rigged. The game is rigged for everything you do in your life, whether it's elections, media, government, business, whatever it is. Typically, the game is rigged against you. However, don't let that stop you. If you don't play, you can't win. And the whole point of my videos here is to teach you how to win when it comes to precious metals. My opinion, again, I'm not a financial advisor or anything. I'm just a guy that's been doing this full-time for about 40 years now or something like that. I forget exactly. I started in 1977. So I've got experience in this, and I'm just trying to share that experience with you, my thoughts, my feelings. Let's move into our first article of the day, gata.org, which again, I've always said that you should have on your bookmarks bar. You should be reading this. You should know these articles before I even get to them if you've been watching my shows. If you're new to my show, definitely bookmark this because these people explain how the markets are rigged, and they are geniuses. Well, maybe I'm pushing it a bit, but when it comes to knowing how markets are rigged, nobody knows it better than gata.org. That's my opinion. Mr. Himke at Sprout Money, when buying gold and silver, avoid unaccounted pool accounts. Again, I am not even going to click this article because the headline kind of says it all. I was involved with a refinery that took 6 figures of my money. They were a great refinery. It's called Third Party Risk, and my silver was in what you call, I had sent silver to a refinery. It was Ohio Precious Metals at the time, and I forget what they changed, Elemental. They changed their name to Elemental, that's right. Um, and I had about 6 figures worth of silver that I had sent to them, and it was there. It actually got there, and within a couple days of being there, they hadn't even opened the barrel of silver I sent them. And yeah, we send out a lot of silver, folks. When I say barrel, not small barrel. They hadn't even opened the barrel that I sent them, and I think it was 2 barrels we had sent them that time. And um, I called them up, or someone called me and said, you know what, Elemental is going out of business, man. They just get stung on some kind of deal. It's a long story, and actually I'm going to tell this story one time and do videos and all that stuff. And I have an inside view that nobody knows about this whole deal with Ohio Precious Metals and Elemental. Maybe I'll tell it at some point. But no less, my silver ended up being in what they call a unallocated pool account. So even though it was entered into their unallocated pool account when it got there, and or something to that effect. They never even opened the barrel. They wouldn't send it back to me. I eventually ended up getting paid on the whole deal. Again, I'll maybe tell that story one day. But when you're buying gold and silver and platinum, even if you are like me and you're sending it to a refiner to have them turn it into pure silver or pure gold or whatever it needs to be done and sold, that's even a third-party risk. When I'm sending my silver out to be refined, I mean, I'm risking that something could happen to that company. And it almost happened once. So you know what? Try to keep your metal in your hand as much as possible, and have it not in other people's hands the least amount of time possible. I'm not a big fan of third-party stuff, but definitely you need to read this on GAT.org. Good article. Jim Rickards, the Permabull of precious metals. Love the guy. And in Permabull, I'll say that in a loving way, but he is a Permabull. I've been reading him for decades now, and the dude just, like, he's always a rah-rah, hooray for gold. It's going to be up this year, going to be up, well, not really up this year, but super smart guy. Definitely should read that article, The Next Phase of War on Cash, and we're going to get into that in a moment in another article about cryptos here. The next phase on the war on cash looks like it's kind of a good read there. I haven't had a chance to read that myself. I definitely recommend you do. Maybe we will tomorrow on tomorrow's video. Another article here on Zero Hedge. By the way, you can read all Zero Hedge articles for free. There's no charge for the reading there, but you do get all the annoying ads. But ZH is a great place to look at all different opinions. Kind of cool article here by Clifford. Remember, ZH doesn't write these articles for the most part. A lot of them they don't. They're done by other authors. This is authored by Clifford Thies via the American Institute of Economic Research. And basically, it talks about $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there, how much money we've been spending out there. During 2020, and I'll read a few little excerpts from here, the federal government provided a total of $3.2 trillion of COVID relief, starting with a mere $8.3 billion and adding $104 billion and adding $2.2. Anyway, finishing off the year with $900 billion. We're now 3 months into 2021, and the federal government has just provided yet another $1.9 trillion in COVID relief, and the Biden administration has asked for $2 trillion in infrastructure. To put these amounts into perspective, $1 trillion today is 4% of the GDP. Back in '69, it was actually 1% of the GDP. Now we've gone from thinking of spending money at a clip of 1/10 of 1% of the GDP to thinking of spending money at a clip of 4% of the GDP. So we've increased the spending at 4 times of what we had. So, I mean, and this was kind of interesting too, and it really didn't dawn on me until I read this. Back in and the perspective, and then this is why actually I'm reading this article, and I kind of forgot. Sorry about that. I should have skipped right to this. What inflation really is, and think about this here. Back in 1969. The dollar was still backed by gold then. The newest aircraft carrier costs about half of one of Dirksen's billions. So about $500 million. How does the cost of newest aircraft carrier, the U.S.S. Gerald Ford, compared to $1 trillion today? The Gerald Ford cost $13 billion. So think about that, $13 billion for an aircraft carrier that costs $1 trillion today. Back in 1969, the premier space mission of the year cost about 1/3 of the Dirksen's billions. The cost of this year's Mars mission at $3 billion is about 1/300th of $1 trillion. I mean, it's just mind-blowing that at one time, an aircraft carrier would be like a half of, $500 million. Now it's billions of dollars. It's just, that's inflation, folks. Good article here, a trillion there, a trillion here. And can we go to another article? Can the U.S. borrow its way to higher growth? Another kind of interesting article that talks about its integrity, folks. These articles talk about integrity. Integrity does not mean borrowing your way and destroying a currency and creating heavy inflation and then smiling at people and say, hey, we'll build you a new bridge. Hey, we'll throw you $1,300, but the future's screwed. There's no integrity with the people that are involved with economics in our country or the people that are spending money. There's pretty much no integrity, and you can pretty much see it by the way they're reacting, the way they have reacting. Since 2008, when they bailed out all these terrible banks that should have never been bailed out, these banks were horrible. These institutions were horrible. They should have gone out of business. And instead, what did government do? What did the Treasury and the Fed do? They bailed these terrible businesses out. And all these terrible businesses have done is just made the same mistakes and done the same thing pretty much. And that's what government and big business and big media does, is they take a position, and when they're wrong, even if they're wrong, they won't admit it. They double down on the stupid. And that's what we've done since 2008. We've doubled down on stupid, whether it's media, government, or big business. Again, that's my opinion. And how does this lead into gold and silver? How does this play into gold and silver? Well, it's so obvious, folks. It's so easy to see. With this lack of integrity equals lack of belief in currencies, lack of belief in corporations, buying stocks in a corporation. When you start looking at a company and saying, well, what do they really make? They're just getting free money. People are going to wake up. They talk about the awoke people out there. And trust me, there are awoke people out there. There's awoke peoples on both sides of the aisles. But when it comes to economics, most of this country and most of the world is not awoke. They're still sleeping. But some of us are becoming awoke. And when you F with people's money and with people's living, and when people start to awake to that idea that the integrity of their money in their pocket and the integrity of markets is not good, that's when the shit hits the fan, folks. We're going to have another 2008 type environment here. It's going to be way, way worse, and gold and silver and platinum will be a hedge against that. Will you get rich? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. Chances are, if gold goes to $10,000 an ounce, a bread's going to cost you $100 a loaf. Does that make you rich? I don't know. But you're doing a lot better than the other people that held dollars and held on to stocks with no fundamentals and listened to the media, government, and business that lacks any integrity. And they're the big club only looking out for themselves. They're not looking out for you, folks. Oh boy, it's a long one today. Let's take a look in Can the U.S. kind of read that. You guys can read these articles on your own. Again, I highly recommend this. Every morning you should kind of get up and look at this, or at least once a week, especially gata.org. I definitely read that once a week without a doubt. And where are we going to go from here? Well, let's move into yesterday's comments. Before I talk about spot prices and before I talk about what the best deal of the day is here. Excuse me, hard to do these straight. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here. And yes, I am a big coffee drinker. If you've ever been in my store here, you'll see that I usually have a cup in my hand all the time. Let's take a look here. I'm going to go over all comments from yesterday's shows. I was going to skip a few, but I figured what the hell here. Let me take a look. Anthony Pretlow, you glorify the killer called DeSantis, shame on you. At some point, I'm not going to be able to answer all these comments because the comments are getting longer and bigger. I think my show is kind of growing a little bit. But for now, I'm going to try to do as many as I can, even the negative ones. Anthony Pretlow, you glorify the killer in Florida called DeSantis, shame on you. I'm sorry you feel that way, Anthony. I wasn't trying to glorify anyone. I don't glorify any politician. Joe Biden, Trump, Republicans, Democrat. I don't glorify any of them. What I will do is I will glorify the actions of some politicians and people. When they do something I think is good, I will glorify it. Well, what you call glorify, it wasn't glorifying for sure. But that's a little over the top, calling glorifying, Anthony. But other than that, I respect your opinion on that. that DeSantis is a killer, but I'm not going there. I don't care about it. I don't care about any of these guys. Again, I'm not in the big club. Why would you think that you're part of the big club and you should hate this guy any more than the other guy? You're not in their club, dude. Left or right, you're not in their club. Trust me on this. But no less, shame on me. Sorry about that, dude. I'm sorry you feel that way. But no less, integrity is zero in both the Republican and Democrat parties. So I just don't go there. What I did, again, what you would call glorify, what I did glorify was DeSantis's decision to remove the mandates and open up the state of Florida to business. That was the right thing to do. I don't care if it was DeSantis. I don't care if it was Joe Biden. I don't care if it was Trump. That's the right thing to do. And that is what I did glorify. Anthony, I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a good day anyway, sir. Mark Magner says, just found you, already lost me. Good luck. Oh, that's cool, Mark. I get that. There's like 10 million YouTube video guys out there, and they have all different styles, including you can watch TV if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it to get your information. But there's a lot of good YouTubers out there. I've seen a few YouTube videos, and some of the guys, they're really smart. I like them and stuff like that. I just disagree with them, and I wouldn't watch them. And I watch someone else. So, Mark, no problem, dude. I do appreciate you watching this one show. Just found you, already lost me. Good luck. I appreciate it. Good luck, and good luck on finding someone you do like to watch, Mark. Again, thanks for watching, sir. Clueless says the Dow specialists, market makers, are heavily shorting all Dow stocks. Ask yourself who's selling in this market. The market makers must. Well, this is a pretty intense question here, Clueless. And if I remember, you've asked some really smart, intense questions here before. And the only way they can maintain orderly market is simply creating stock out of nothing and selling. Well, that's what we've been talking about, creating stock out of nothing. That's like an ETF kind of, isn't it? A piece of paper says you own something where you really don't own anything. I think stocks, at least when you're buying a stock, supposedly you own a piece of that company. You are in ownership of that company. An ETF, I don't quite sure know what you own in an ETF. You don't own what you think you own, that's for sure. But you're right. These guys can just create endless amounts of stock, and they can make it whatever they work. If the M&Ms take the market higher, they'll lose billions. Goldman Sachs owns the vast majority of Dow specialists, and they have 15,000 employees making over 150. Dude, I think I couldn't agree with you more, Clueless. And actually, it's exactly what we were just talking about. Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, they are in the big club along with media and government. We are not in the big club. We are who they feed off. They're the whales. We're the small fish that they eat. So I couldn't agree with you more on that. You make another comment up here. The gold market makers must conduct an endless series of rallies to suck all the public money and then drop prices hard to destroy as many accounts. When it comes to paper gold, I would agree with that. It's they do the same thing in paper gold, ETFs and contracts that they do with equities. So all the markets are rigged. You know that. Of course they're rigged, but we know how they're rigged, Clueless. And this is the beauty of owning real gold in your hand with no third-party risk, and not owning a piece of paper that they can endlessly print. So you hit it pretty much on the mark there, sir. Impossible Machine says it will be a Liberty coin. You're talking about my coin here. Here, that one right there. It's actually kind of it's a 1 ounce round. If you wonder what that noise is, somebody thought it was a pencil sharpener. So, and one of the commenters thought it was a pencil sharpener. But that's me spinning a 1 ounce silver round, and one side of the round has a bull on it, and the other one has a bear. And I kind of use it just for fun to see what the market's going to do. It's just a fun thing. I say, okay, is it going to be a bull or a bear? But really, that's just hocus pocus. But it's fun to do anyway. Master Sensei, make America Florida. You know what? When it comes to the actions of what the governor did, opening up the states, and opening up, reducing the mandates, couldn't agree with you more, sir. And I wouldn't care if it was a red or a blue governor that did it. I would be giving them as the gentleman called it, glorifying them. So I don't care what color they're wearing. The right thing to do was open up businesses and reduce the mandates. Michelle Burgett says, even now is huge premiums, paying more than 30% for premiums. Yeah, that's the issue right now, is that you're paying a 30% premium for a lot of precious metals, gold and silver. But you know what? Maybe you shouldn't look at it as you're paying a 30% premium. Maybe we should look at it as that paper is a 30% discount. I like that idea better. Kind of a more positive spin on it. Actually, if you really think about who is a dog and who is a tail, the dog is the physical market, the tail is a paper market, so the dog should be wagging the tail. And if that's the case, then let's put into our heads that the paper markets are at a 30% discount. I think actually when we start talking about this, and I'm going to start doing this, I'm not going to say that there's a 30% premium for gold or silver. I'm going to say there's a 30% discount for paper. Because really, if you think about it, that's the truth. Thanks for watching, Burgett. Appreciate that. Michelin? Sorry about that. Mr. Borat, wow, cryptocurrency is just another form of fiat to be manipulated. I agree it's a form of fiat, Mr. Borat, absolutely. However, I do believe, and I do see a future for cryptos and stuff like that, for the use in contracts, the use in transfers. So there's some great technology there that I think is going to be very profitable to mankind, or humankind, I should say, and to the economic world as well. But as far as being money, money to me has to be backed by something. Even the money dollar bills in our pocket are not money, in my opinion. Heather says, silver due for a boom. Yep, it sure is, Heather. And I'm just waiting. Bitcoin will follow the way with fiat currencies. Again, just as I explained to Mr. Board, I think Bitcoin has a future somehow, not Bitcoin per se, but cryptos have a future in our markets somehow, some way. It's just not going to be in the form of money, or maybe it will be. And actually, the truth is, I think they're going to take over cryptos. China's already made cryptos illegal, and I think I had an article up there. There you go. China's already made cryptocurrencies illegal, and they have just basically rolled out their own cryptocurrency. That's what I see happening in the Western worlds. I see that the private cryptos are going to be reduced to heavily regulated money markets. That's what they're going to look like. And then governments are going to roll out their own form of crypto, which are going to force upon us somehow, or they're going to try to force upon us, like they're trying to do with health passports now. They're going to try to stick it down our throats. But you know what? Again, what I talked about earlier about integrity, that until we start speaking up, until we start getting vocal, all of us, telling our friends and our family, going out there and being vocal about this stuff, it'll only get shoved down our throats if we're not vocal. That's my opinion. Interesting article here I missed earlier too. Speaking of cryptos, didn't mean to digress here, that talks about what the Chinese are doing. They're creating their own major digital currency. And you know what? With the digital currencies they're creating, just like the ones that our government will create one day and the Fed will create one day, it's completely trackable. They can erase it, take it away from you, do whatever they want, whenever they want. This is where we're going, folks. This is why I have not been a fan of cryptocurrencies being promoted as a currency, because I see the writing on the wall. Governments are going to take it over and they're going to force it down our throats, and it'll be a different version of it that will not be good for any of us. Again, my opinion. Let's take a look. Hold on, where'd I go? Where's my comments? Sorry about that. Robert Schulenberg says, uneducated economist on YouTube has good insight. You know what? I meant to look at that. Thanks for pointing out his YouTube channel. I'll take a look at that afterwards, Robert. Appreciate that. Xi Jinping Bear, thanks for watching, man. I appreciate seeing you make a few comments out there. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate your support in the channel. Heather, thanks as well. And Bo is first from Virginia, 68 degrees. Guess what, Bo? We were only like 8 degrees below you today in Florida. Figured that one out. Ross, just found your channel. Listened to the past 4 episodes. Love the content. Thank you, sir. JD, same as well. Thank you. I really appreciate it. California, yeah, I have a lot of friends that live in California that's been closed down, and you know what? I cannot glorify their governor for closing it down. Now, if their governor opens up the state, or opened up the state a while back ago, and got rid of these ridiculous mandates, maybe I would glorify that action. That action, not the man. So if you're watching, where are you, Anthony Pretlow? Remember, I glorify the action, not the person. And that's what we all should do in life, glorify actions of people, not the people themselves. People are not gods. We're all the same. We all put our pants on the same way every morning. Coret Menace, I think we're on a countdown, but realistically could blow tomorrow or in 6 months. Countdown. Nobody actually brought up the countdown. Thank you, sir. You're the only one that said that give a time frame in 6 months or so. I like that time frame. The only thing I worry about time frames is that if you publicly announce it, like on a YouTube thing, someone's going to come back and remind you how wrong you were down the road. You know what I mean? So I avoid short-term picking unless I'm rolling the coin here just for fun to tell you what it'll do tomorrow, or I'm just guessing tomorrow. But medium short-term, I don't need to guess. I know where gold and silver and platinum are going, right through the frickin' roof, thanks to media, government, and business that has no integrity. Glad you found me too, Susie. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And actually, I appreciate all of you people watching. I'd appreciate it too if you could hit that like button right there and the, where's that little belly thing there? Subscribe bell, that as well. And I'll continue to do these shows as long as I possibly can, and that is really about it. Let me discuss what's going on in gold and silver prices right now. We're about sideways from where we've been. I like what I'm seeing. Buy the dips. If you see the dips go down, buy. Whatever you do, don't sell. Don't sell into these dips at all. Don't panic. Don't sell. The dips are phony. They're manipulated. They're monkey hammered by businesses and governments that have no integrity. So that's my opinion. Let's take a look at the numbers here. I'm going to do a quick refresh here. It's a static page. It's CCE. It's a subscription-only service. But it looks like we're going to be up across the board. Kind of up. Gold is kind of hovering in that 1730, 1740 range, 2489 to 2520, and 1224 to 1245. I got a sneaking suspicion that this quarter, because we're past the first quarter, we're going to see metal prices up across the board, unless, again, government or some institutions have some more ammo and they can monkey hammer it low. But how low are they going to get it? Not much. The only way gold and silver are going to crash is if we get another financial economic crash, which we will, and gold and silver will crash. But again, that'll be a paper crash, not a physical crash. You won't be able to buy at those numbers. But again, I talk about that all the time. Some of you are probably sick of hearing that. And it looks like platinum's holding its own above 1200. So things are kind of like smooth sailing here. Everything's cool. Again, I like buying gold, anything under 2000. One day you're going to look at $2,000 gold even and say, man, that's cheap. One day you're going to look at $30 silver, $40 silver, and you're going to say, man, that was cheap. And one day you're going to look at $1,500, $2,000 platinum and you're going to go, man, that was cheap. And probably even higher at some point. You're going to still say the stuff was cheap. So again, just kind of stack this stuff away, buy it, accumulate it. That's my opinion, and I hope that all my information and all the things I'm showing you here are helping you become better buyers and sellers in precious metals, including talking about integrity, because it all plays into what we're doing. Best deals out there right now are still constitutional U.S. silver, which is made by the U.S. Mint, the same people that make Silver Eagles, which are way overpriced at $8 to $12 an ounce. So if you want to buy a U.S. Mint product that's not overpriced, 90% is the best deal out there. We have it on hand for spot plus $4. Remember, I'm local. I don't sell online, but go to your local coin dealer, even if you have to drive an hour to keep that money in your state. Hit your local coin dealer and see if he can supply you 90%. My suggestion is if you're paying more than... There's product out there like 90% silver bars and other things that are less than $5 an ounce premium right now. If you're paying more than $5 premium, it's not smart. You're overpaying, in my opinion. Stick with the lower price premium products like 90%, which is under $5 premium right now. Same thing applies to gold. Gold Eagles are just stupid money. Love the product. Love Gold Buffaloes. They're just stupid money. Even Eagles and Maples and Krugerrands have become a bit overpriced. And when I say overpriced compared to a product like Valcombi, Swiss Gold Bars, and Gold Bars that you can buy for less than $100 over the price of gold per ounce. Way better deal. So, if you're buying Maple Leafs at 120 to 140 over spot, and you're buying Gold Eagles at 170, 200, it's too much, folks. It's too much. Who cares what it looks like? Who cares that it's square and not a pretty coin with an eagle on it? It's just gold. You're just buying gold. My mantra is pay the least premium you can on the most recognizable products that you can buy. And my other mantra is buy local, avoid buying online. I don't care if it's tires, jewelry, precious metals, coins, whatever it may be. Buy from your local coin stores. Try to avoid Amazon and the online sellers, unless you have to. Some people don't live in areas where they can get a good local coin store. But if you can, keep the money local if possible. Well, that's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Ware Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime at 954-493-8811 between the hours of 10 and 4 for any questions you may have or what the best deal of the day is. Listen, I appreciate you excuse me there. I appreciate you watching, and if anything crazy happens today, I'll come back and do another video. If not, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hey, thanks for watching again, and good day.